With the new beta update came a ton of new fun tricks to learn, but also a few myths that we will also go over. I have plenty of tips for you regarding the new Overcharge, shop items, and just newly discovered tips that I haven't mentioned before. One of the new items, the Duck Bucket, is absolutely overpowered with all the different tricks you can do with it. You can find this Duck Bucket only in the secret shop, and it is around $6,000 to purchase. One of the coolest things you can do with this bucket is actually use it as like a car and zoom around really fast around the map. It's super fun when in the bucket and hilarious to see from the other POV. To do this trick, you can have 0 strength, but the more strength you have, the faster you will go. This is demonstrated with 3 strength. First, tip over the duck bucket and crouch inside. Once inside, look towards the opening and grab as close to the edge as possible of the bucket. After that, just look straight and you will start to zoom. You can control where you're going just by looking around with your mouse. What makes this so amazing is that in the bucket, you are in your smallest form, so enemies will not even attack you unless you bump right into them with the bucket. It makes it amazing for when you complete the last extraction and need to head back to the truck where all the monsters are on your path. Another insane trick is being able to jump in the bucket and basically letting you fly up super high. It's pretty fun and you might be able to get to some higher areas where you normally can't get to. Just get in the bucket and spam your jump key. Also with the bucket, you can pull it out anytime a peeper is attached to you. When pulling out the bucket, it will go right in front of you, blocking the sight between you and the peeper, and this will make the peeper go away. The bucket is also good for hiding overall. Again, because you go really small in the bucket, enemies can't really see you, so if a monster's entering a room and there's nowhere to hide, just quickly pull out the bucket and go inside. If there's no time to do that though, you can also just take out the bucket and put it over your head to make you go like in a smaller form, and it's pretty effective for hiding as well. Shown in the clip here, the headman goes to attack me, but when I turn the corner and I take out the bucket and put it over my head, the headman loses track of me. The obvious thing the bucket is used for, the duck, actually works really well. If you're really annoyed from the duck, just put the bucket on it and you actually don't have to deal with the duck for the entire rest of the level. Lastly, the bucket can be used to bait out huntsman shots. This isn't the most unique trick as you can do it with pretty much any item, but I figured it was worth mentioning since it has helped me a few times since you can carry the duck bucket on you. Up next, we have a really good trick for killing stunned enemies, and this is called cart bashing. I didn't know this until recently, thanks to Cynic, that the cart can actually hit enemies and does 25 damage when doing so. This is only when the enemy is stunned though, so if you don't have the strength for an enemy but you do have a way to stun them, you can get the enemy stunned, then move the cart side to side, hitting that enemy to deal damage. This will kill it fairly quickly, and it works with both regular cart and pocket cart. Once again, note that this only works when the enemy is stunned, so do not try this on the enemies walking around, you will die. Here, you can see I go over, use the stun grenade on the robe, then I grab my cart in the strong mode using the handle, then hit the robe with the side of the cart over and over until it dies. The Overcharge system may have seemingly made it super difficult to play the game, however, strength is actually still a great way to get high levels and play the game. You just need to be more methodical about what you are doing. When at the required strength to pick up enemies, you can still pick them up to stun them even with the Overcharge. So a great strategy is making sure you are near pits when grabbing enemies, then you can just slide them right into the pit. You can also throw the enemies up into the air periodically. By just grabbing the enemies and tossing them up, you are helping to not overcharge while also dealing damage to the monster. If you get close to overcharging though, just quickly hide, wait for your charge to go down, and get right back into tossing the enemy again when you are ready. Another good trick with this is using your teammates. Even if your teammate doesn't have the necessary strength to pick up the monster, just them helping by grabbing the enemy makes the overcharge happen slower. So any teammates nearby are going to help you with tossing enemies around. This trick is not related to the new update, but I learned that you can use any fireplace in Headman Manor to kill the ducks. Wait standing still next to the fireplace with the cart, and the duck will jump in the cart. When it jumps again to get out of the cart, you want to slide the cart out from under the duck, then use the cart to push the duck into the fireplace as so. This is just another convenient way to get the duck orb. The new blender item can actually be used to kill enemies if you have the indestructible drone. First, attach the drone to the blender and keep the blender on until the top explodes off. Now you can use it as a weapon by dragging enemies into the blender or just dragging the blender into enemies. It's a little difficult, but very funny. I think one important thing to mention for the new museum map is that items can actually spawn in the vents, so it is worth checking and going around in them. Another thing to note is that right now the line that was added for when extracting items is actually wrong. As you can see, I have the server sticking out beyond the line, but I'm still able to extract this item. The new line I drew on screen better depicts where items can actually be collected, and hopefully this can get changed for the official update release. Here's some info that is spreading around that I want to mention just isn't true. The strength requirement to just pick up enemies in the new update did not increase by 1. All enemies are still the same strength requirement as before and can be found in my monster guide video if you are curious. Also, Upscream does not do more damage. It still only does 10 damage per toss. The only thing that changed with the Upscream was the design. There was a small patch for the beta recently, however, these were the main things mentioned. Objects no longer do a % damage when hitting enemies. It was reverted to how objects normally took damage when you are using them to bash enemies. You can no longer use integrated text chat to do stuff like flashbang or type emojis. Loading graphics for the museum was fixed. It before used to just be a white flashbang, and a bunch of public lobby issues were fixed. Please leave a sub if you enjoy the repo content and want to see more tips or challenge videos. I appreciate you all watching, always have, always will.